what's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Memphis Dynasty here on NCAA 12, one of the underrated NCAA games that we have in that Xbox 360 / PS3 generation, depending on what floats your boat. We are 2-1 so far in the year. We're having a solid season here in our second season in the Big East. But we take on an old conference opponent of ours that dates back to our time in Conference USA. We're taking on the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes in this episode, and this is a team that has straight up not handled the transition well. They're 0-4 so far, they're averaging 17 points a game, but at least on paper, they're very similar to us. We're a C overall squad, but so is Tulsa, who's also a C overall team. They're 0-4 with that 0-1 conference record, but I am curious to see who they went up against, and it looks like, yeah, this is not a great team. They did lose to North Texas and Colorado State, but hung in there with Oklahoma. Almost managed to pull the upset on them. So anything could happen in this episode, man. You never know in this beautiful game of college football, but I am really excited to get this game underway, and I hope you guys are really excited about it as well. If you are, I do need you guys to go ahead and do me a favor, and that's hitting that like button for me so that we can get this out to fellow college football fans like those of you that are watching right now. And shoot, if you're even brand new to the channel as well, hit that subscribe button for me. I would truly appreciate that. But now, let's go get our first road game of the season underway, and let's see if we can rattle off another winning streak. Let's go. Alright boys, so let's go ahead and get our very first road game of the season officially underway as Tulsa, they set up the screen first time out. They bamboozle us pretty darn good there as we actually called the blitz there, and you already know that's just the perfect play call to have when you're going up against a blitz. Halfback screen, they able to get a first down because of that. And something that Tulsa also loves to do, they like to go really quick. They are not going to take very much time in between plays, and our defense wasn't really ready for that early on. We took on quite a few teams so far this season that did not employ this no huddle type of offense. So could be some headaches that we have to deal with in terms of that. But 2nd and 7, going to throw over to the right hand side. That actually does manage to get completed, and Tulsa is quickly moving down the field as they are searching to get the first points on the board in this game here on this opening drive. 1st and 10 coming up, going over the middle of the field, and that's nearly intercepted. Willie Mason, you had it right in your hands, big fella. I need you to make that catch for me. I guess that's why you end up playing DB instead. So 2nd and 10 instead, as they'll go ahead and run it out to the left-hand side, and there is a penalty on the field. They will call a holding there, but we decided to decline the penalty, make it 3rd and 14. Felt like it was going to be harder to pick up 14 yards instead of having 2 plays to get 20 yards. That's just kind of what my methodology was for that, as we get a little bit caught up. We had a little bit of a hitch when we were trying to run. Thought about covering the middle of the field instead, and we were actually very fortunate that this is going to go into a booth review, because the game was not actually sure if this is actually a completion or not, as we go ahead and check the field right now, and looks like his toe was on the line when he made that catch. So field goal, they'll go with the field goal team, which is no good. I don't know why they decided to try to make these field goals from that darn deep, but really a wasted opportunity for Tulsa. They end up going ahead and not getting any points on that drive. So we'll take over with really good field position, though, starting off at about the 40-yard line. So really love where we're at here, as Bell will go ahead, start the game off, throw over to the opposite side, throws across his body, which Usually not a great decision, but we made it work there. Able to pick up 9 yards from that. So we'll see if Chris Washington can get open for us yet again. But we go to the opposite side, and it's Willie Duckett that gets open for us there. He'll pick up a first down for us as we're already across the 40-yard line ourselves. It's time to show them how an actual offense is run. So Riley Bell lines up under shotgun, but the screen was actually covered here pretty well. So we take off with Riley Bell, and he's able to get across the 20-yard line. But he does hurt himself as he was going out of bounds. So Joseph Thompson has to come in and at least try to finish this drive. We'll see what he can do, as this will be some very extensive action if he does have to be out for the rest of this game. But not really too worried when you got a guy like Justin Brown on your football team who's just able to make anybody and everybody miss. He is a menace. And man, that is just a great run that we got there. So that gives us a touchdown on the board. As now 7-0 is going to be your score, as Tulsa going to try to respond to the earlier touchdown score. Had a solid drive going as well, but you know, they had that long field goal attempt. They straight up missed that. We'll see if they learn from their past mistakes as they go back to the no huddle offense. Gave us some fits there on the first drive, and it's still giving us fits a little bit. Again, Dan Daniel being caught a little bit flat-footed there on the play action. So now Tulsa is a little bit deeper downfield, but we got him to a 3rd and long, though. Can we keep him at this current spot over the left-hand side? But it's broken up. Dan Daniel makes something for it. Absolutely obliterates him, as Lamar Steele is actually down on the field. The sophomore redshirt hurt himself while he was actually attempting to make that catch. And again, Tulsa settling for a field goal here. This kick will be up, and this one actually had the right angle. It was just a little bit short, though. Maybe this kicker just isn't very good straight up and down. But we do find out that Riley Bell did suffer a concussion. So for the rest of the game, it's going to be the Joseph Thompson show. We're going to see what he has in him. This is going to be the first extensive look at him. I don't really count that Tulane game that much. You know, he came in mostly in garbage time that last time out. So we'll see what Joseph Thompson's got in him, as he'll run up the middle of the field with Justin Brown, and he'll at least pick up the first down. And that's going to be the key. Now that we have a backup quarterback in the game, it's really important that we get that running game going, because I don't want to have Joseph Thompson sitting back and have a bunch of passing attempts, right? That's not how I want to operate my offense. I do want to try to get some play action in, though. We'll see if this helps get a big play downfield as we try to throw over the middle for Chris Washington, but Chris Washington will not be able to hang on to that pass. But no harm, no foul, though. We only need to pick up 1 single yard, if that is we're given a 3rd and inches situation. As Thompson looks back to pass, he's looking around, but dumps it off to Jamarcus Mitchell. Waits for a wise decision to be made. Does not panic when it's not immediately open. And we'll pick up the first down because of it. You love to see it. So now, 1st and 10 coming up. So we try to set up yet another option. This time with Tufington on the field, as he will take the carry and run it right up the middle of the field. He's got some space to work with, but how is that not a touchdown, though? We had 3 blockers versus 1 defender. How does nobody get that guy? That blows my mind quite a bit, actually. So we go ahead and make some adjustments at the line of scrimmage, but not the look that we originally received. So we go back to our original play, and it's a good call that we went back to the first play that we had, because Tufington's able to find a good amount of space there, too. He'll pick up a gain of 7 before Justin Brown checks back into the game. As we'll go back to Justin Brown. He takes it outside, and he'll get across the 20-yard line, giving us yet another red zone opportunity that I'm hoping that we can capitalize on. So now, 1st and 10 in our second red zone attempt of the game, as we go with another play action. Thompson looking around, trying to find somebody to get open. Looks over the middle of the field and finds Bell. And the bell cow at the tight end position, now inside the 5-yard line, as we look to score in our final play of the first quarter, most likely. As Thompson makes the curl flat adjustment, looks right, he finds Jamarcus Mitchell who works his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers. And Joseph Thompson makes this a 2-score lead as we go into the first quarter of action. And we got a nice lead that we got going on right now. 14-0 your score after 1 quarter of action. So now the second quarter is coming up right now as we have the football in our hands once again. We did force a free and out on the Tulsa Hurricanes as Thompson tries to set up the screen here on this 1st and 10, but it was actually read pretty well. Probably should have gone in a different direction instead, but he's a young quarterback who is still getting his first playing time. He's been redshirted, and then he did not play in his freshman redshirt season, so still has a lot to learn, obviously, but you know, he's got some tools that I really like. He's a very athletic quarterback. I'm hoping that we can get him outside in the pocket eventually, but in the meantime, this game will be a good learning opportunity for him to learn how to navigate a pocket, make good reads, all that good stuff. This is a 3rd and 10 that we're working through right now. We do find Chris Washington over the middle of the field. Could have been a little bit riskier of a throw. Might have been an interception in NCAA 14, but in 12, we're good to go there. So 1st and 10 coming up as Thompson is going to throw over to the right-hand side, trying to set up that screen once again, but Tulsa is all over it as it's the 2nd time that we can't even complete that particular pass. But 3rd and long coming up, though, and now we'll need Joseph Thompson to make a play. We'll see what he can do on his 3rd and 13 as he drops back in the pocket, tries to throw it out to the fullback, who we did have an open space in the middle of the field, just couldn't get it out to him in time. So we didn't get any points on that particular drive, but we do force another free and out once again. Defense playing extremely well in this one. Exactly what I wanted to see, considering, again, we do have a backup quarterback in the game. That just means the other aspects of our football team do need to step up a little bit. So now, 2nd and 5 coming up as we run up the gut with Justin Brown, and he'll fight for that tough yards as well. He may be considered more of a speed guy, and he can outrun just about anybody in our conference, but he can pick up those tough yards too. I really do respect that about him. But then Joseph Thompson, he's just going to make a young person mistake there. Should have got rid of that football when nobody was open downfield. And instead, it's going to be 2nd and 22. Not what I want, but that's what we're going to be working with, as Thompson will run the option during next play. We'll get us to about the regular line of scrimmage that we originally had. Still 3rd and long, though. But we'll see if we can bamboozle them with a halfback draw. And we actually do pick up a good chunk of yardage there. It's not a 1st down, but there is a penalty on the field. They're going to call face mask. Looks like Justin Brown's face mask was pulled just enough. So that allows us to keep our drive going a little bit. We'll see if we can take advantage of that as we have another 3rd down coming up here as we're looking around, trying to get it out to the right-hand side, and that should have been intercepted. Very fortunate that pass was dropped. I'm not sure what Joseph Thompson saw there. I'm going to be honest with you. But we'll at least get a chance to kick a field goal with Tommy Wyatt, and he has been absolute money. Reminds me of Money McPherson, the kicker of the Cincinnati Bengals. And we do extend our lead, now making it 17-0. So 3:56 left to play here in the first half of action as Tulsa will drop back the pass, looking over to the left-hand side, and it's going to be caught. That will be a 1st down for the Golden Hurricanes as they are still searching for their first points of the game. As they, a couple plays later, again looking to try to pass, but Coleman is all over it. Beats the tackle at the point of attack, and now it's 3rd and 18. We'll see if our defenders cut loose, and we go after this quarterback, setting 5 rushers, and our corner gets through, makes a play, baby. Let's go, man. I'm not sure who that is. That might have been Fuller. Kyle Fuller, who's on our team, hasn't gotten much playing time in this series, but as a senior, stepping into that starting role for the first time, and certainly making the most of that opportunity. So now we have the ball back in our hands as it looks like Tulsa stacking the box. So we'll see if we can make him pay for it by attacking deep downfield. We throw over the middle of the field a little bit, trying to get that pass over to our tight end, but wouldn't have mattered. There was a holding call, and they're going to call it on Chris Spence, the left guard. So now it's 1st and 20 as we try to set up the option. And at first I thought this was going to be a big loss as well, but Justin Brown finds a way to make magic happen Linebackers obviously cannot keep up with this kid, and Justin Brown is going to dive into the end zone. That is an 87-yard touchdown. How about that? We got a 24-0 lead, and we could make this lead even bigger. Let's see what we do on this drive. 1st and 10, looking over the middle of the field. We get it out to Jamarcus Mitchell. Not a great pass, but we do get bailed out yet again because there is a holding on Corey Wright that he grabbed that face mask. So a 15-yard penalty gets us to about the 35-yard line already. We're on the edge of the field goal range, and that should at least get us into that field goal spot. We will go ahead and use one of our timeouts, though, since I don't want to keep that clock running. Still have 2 timeouts left to work with, too. So don't have to change up our offense here too terribly much. Just got to keep executing as we'll run the football with Justin Brown, who's able to cut inside. And he'll now be across the 20-yard line back into that no-huddle offense. I want to go for that jugular here in the first half. As 24-0 still is your score as Thompson looks over. Tries to throw it over to the left-hand side, but just kind of got locked into that underneath receiver, and we almost paid for it. So now, 3rd and 9 coming up is we'll try to throw for the first down. We'll see if somebody can get open for us. 3rd and 9, Thompson looking over the middle of the field. We had a receiver for a moment, but there's a flag on the field, though, and it's a holding penalty. Yet another holding penalty for us. Andy Whaley getting caught for it, and they actually declined the penalty. So we actually have another shot at this 3rd down conversion. Although 3rd and 19 is not easy. Trying to throw over the middle of the field. Had to go for that first down marker, and we don't get it. But luckily it's still in Tommy Watt's field goal range because we will trot him out yet again. A 45-yard field goal attempt. Did not know if he was going to actually make this or not. Could have hit that upright. Thankfully, it didn't, though. And 27-0 lead here as we do kick another field goal. And while it feels like we could be playing a little bit better on offense, particularly Joseph Thompson could be making a little bit better decisions. That could be a thing that needs to be improved on. I still like what we are doing here in this first half. We're carrying a massive lead as we're already up 27-0 at the break. So now we go ahead and jump into the second half of action as Tulsa has the football in their hands. They're still looking for their first points of this game. They are still waiting for that to happen here. We'll see if we can obviously prevent that. As now 2nd and 10 coming up for the Tulsa Hurricanes in their first year in the Big East. As they'll actually hand it off to the wide receiver who finds a lot of space on the outside. Been a lot of up and north and south running for Tulsa, so that was a good call to switch things up a little bit, and obviously it worked really well. So now 3rd and short coming up as we're seeing some adjustments at the line of scrimmage. Williams gets audible to the left-hand side. It's going to be it's a play action, looking for it all downfield, and it's going to be intercepted. Eddie Davis, the sophomore custom at the strong safety position. Ran the route for the receiver, and that was barbecue chicken after that. So now 27-0, still your score, and we go back to trying to run that jet sweep, and Chris Washington, man, starts the jet sweep off extremely well. Just was really caught up in that Wildcat offense, and that's a good way to start this drive. We'll see if we can keep it going, though, as we will face 3rd and long. As we'll try to dump it off to Justin Brown. Do get it out to him. Going to need him to make a play. And sure enough, he does. Justin Brown getting across midfield. I'm so glad we got Justin Brown on this team. He was thinking about going to the NFL after last season. And glad that he's returned for his senior year. He's a really special player. But we need him to do something special here possibly, as we got a 3rd and 10 coming up. We'll see what Joseph Thompson and company can cook up here as Thompson looking over to the right-hand side, throws to his right-hand side, and I keep forgetting that he's a left-handed quarterback, so the rollouts to the right, maybe not the best for him specifically. I'll have to remember that because that's just a habit of mine, you know, working with a lot of right-handed quarterbacks. Maybe rolling to the right isn't the best for a left-hander, though, so something to think about moving forward if Joseph Thompson does have to get more extensive playing time if Riley Bell ends up getting hurt even more so in this game or throughout the season. You know, still a long football season that we got going on, as Tulsa's still trying to look for those first points. They are still searching for their first points of this game. Is now they're at a 2nd and 9 here. They're going to try to pass for the first down. No, it's actually going to be a run. Matt Scales had his hands on him, but he can't bring down the quarterback, though. Would have been really nice to have that play. I'll tell you what, would have been a nice growth opportunity for the true freshman. But, you know, it's going to be a little bit painful here. I've said this multiple times throughout Season 4. Having multiple freshmen on that defensive line, talented freshmen, you know, these were high-end 3-stars that we brought into the program last year. But that being said, asking them to start right away, definitely some growing pains for sure. As Tulsa, they're going to run it up the middle, and they got broken tackles here. AJ Kasich gets blocked from behind. We don't get a clipping? Are you joking me right now? We do not get the clipping penalty. And that is how Tulsa gets their first points of the game. Although you can't blame it all on the clipping. We had multiple opportunities to make a tackle, just did not do it. And just like that, the shutout is going to be officially over now, as we actually go 3 and out on our next possession. So have to come back at it again. Need our defense to really focus in right now, as the Golden Hurricanes going back into their no huddle. They do have a lot of ground that they do need to make up. Down by 20 and just about a quarter left to play. Running over to the left-hand side, and that is going to be a few yards picked up there, but there is a flag on the field, as they're going to call a holding penalty on Ben Green. So that will back him up a few yards. So now it'll be the same first down opportunity, except 15 yards instead, but it doesn't matter, as our safeties give up a big play downfield. Eddie Davis, the sophomore custom, does have to come in there and kind of push him out of bounds. That was a really big man that got wide but naked open downfield too. Not ideal. So now 1st and 10 as Tulsa tries to add on to their score, as they're trying to scramble here, but we got a fumble on the field, and Greg Copeland picks it up. Let's go, baby. That's what I'm talking about, man. And that is Sean Taylor, the elder statesman on the defensive line, that got that football loose. And that is going to wrap things up here in the 3rd quarter of action. Our offense has slowed down quite a bit. We still have a 20-point lead to work through. So here we are in the 4th quarter of action, as we find Tulsa starting with the football to begin this 4th quarter. As Tulsa trying to get this comeback to happen. They get a big play downfield. Start this drive, even getting across midfield there. Mike Nugent had to come in there and make that play. So now it's going to be another 1st and 10 for Tulsa. Their offense showing much better signs of life than what it did in the first half, obviously. But they try to set up the screen on the very next play, and it just does not go anywhere. That means it was going to be a 6-yard loss, as Sean Taylor again showing that he's not messing around and playing any games. Forcing a 3rd and long in the process too. We'll see if our defensive line can notch up yet another sack. However, this quarterback got all the time in the world, but forces a dangerous throw. Should have been intercepted, but Mike Nugent does let it go right through his hands though. And at this point in the game, they are getting really desperate, as they're going to go for it here on a 4th and 17. Just got to keep everything in front, and we almost make that mistake. We were going to key in on that inside route. Thankfully, that pass was overthrown, though. Extremely lucky we have the football in our hands right now. That should have been a touchdown. And now, 1st and 10 coming up as Joseph Thompson gets things started with the speed option to the left-hand side. He'll pick up a few yards there to work through. But what I really want to see is if Joseph Thompson can lead another touchdown drive for me. And it starts with getting this big throw downfield, finding Willie Duckett. That is a good job, not locking in on that underneath pattern for once. And we got big yards because of it. Now let's see if we can build off of that, as we got another 1st and 10. Getting it out to Jamarcus Mitchell, who picks up a short gain, but we will be benefited by yet another penalty, as that will be a face mask calling on Kevin McKeon. So now it's going to be first and goal from the 9-yard line. Starting the first and goal opportunity with a run for Justin Brown, who leaves his way to very close into the end zone. And while his stats are not as eye-popping as what we've seen previously, he's still having a great game. 169 yards, a couple of touchdowns to go with it as well. Matter of fact, let's make it 3 touchdowns on Justin Brown as the offensive line is able to win in the trenches, down by the goal line. That's what it matters the most, baby. And now we got a 34-7 lead. Tulsa shaking in their boots right now. We'll see what they try to do. They're going to try to run for the first down. Oh, we had a guy kind of on a spy, sort of guarding that running back at the same time. And we just whiff. We straight up just whiff with him. Not a big fan of that. And now Tulsa going back into their no huddle. 2nd and inches coming up here as Richardson does get moved over to the left-hand side. A run play to the left. It is, as a couple of tackles are broken, as Sean Miller has to come and make a play eventually. So now 1st and 10 coming up, as now dropping back to pass again. Another run up the middle of the field, and this time we don't even have a spy, but there's a ball on the ground, and Chase Gentry gets it. The true freshman recovers the ball, and while he does get a little bit shaken up, hopefully is okay. It's Fuller that does get the forced fumble, and we will take over right on the logo of the Tulsa Hurricanes. And let's see if we can finish this drive off as well, so we can go ahead, get those backups in the game a little bit, give them a little bit of playing experience, or at least backups not named Joseph Thompson, since he's obviously our backup quarterback, right? So 2nd and 10 coming up, though, as we'll drop back to pass yet again. We're going to look over right inside, and we do find Jamarcus Mitchell upfield to about the 35-yard line. But you know what we got to do? Got to give the football out to Justin Brown, who's able to almost break yet another one. He only had one more defender to evade. Couldn't do it, but hey, that's still a great run there for Justin Brown. As we get a little bit closer now, thanks to his little out pattern completion. But 3rd down coming up. We'll see if we can pick it up either through the air or on the ground. Just pick it up no matter what, right? So 3rd and 4 coming up as we'll drop back to pass again. Trying to get it out to Bell, and Bell is going to get into the end zone. We do end up finishing yet another drive. Touchdown, Memphis. That's just a great job going through your progressions, right? That's obviously not the first read, but nobody was over there. And hey, like I said, we did end up getting those backups into the game eventually. And we win another Big East Conference game. And we do so winning big. 48-14 ends up being your final score. Great performance yet again as we do what we're supposed to do, handling the teams that are clearly not on our level right now. So it's another big win in terms of victory margin, as we're now 2-0 here in Big East Conference play, even though we did have some struggles at the quarterback position today. Rowley Bell did end up getting hurt early in the game, so Joseph Thompson did play for essentially the whole game, but not what I was hoping for. He did throw 2 touchdown passes, but 15 for 35. I expected him to be a little bit better than that. However, Justin Brown continues to impress as he ends up with 238 yards on the ground, even added 4 touchdowns through the ground as well. He has essentially been our entire offense over the course of his game. Now, the receivers did have a tough time getting open today, unfortunately. Didn't get those big shots downfield. However, we still had a couple of touchdowns today, with Jamarcus Mitchell making a touchdown grab. He had 6 catches for 46 yards today. And we also saw the tight end Steve Bell, the senior redshirt from Mensforo, Tennessee. He got a touchdown grab with 3 catches and 38 yards. Now, defensively, one standout that I did want to take a minute to highlight was Kevin Fuller. The true sophomore showed his hard-hitting ability, had 7 solo tackles, and that leads just about everybody. LaRue Nugent wasn't too bad either. He had 5 solo tackles himself. However, what we really did today, and why I thought we showed a lot of class, we got this quarterback a lot today. Particularly, Pat Taylor had a field day. He had 3 sacks in this game. He was all over that quarterback. Probably will be in his nightmares too. Also getting to the quarterback today was Sam Miller, Nate Coleman, and we also saw a little bit of love for Matt Scales, Seth Randolph, the junior custom, and also that Kevin Fuller. What also helped us get this blowout today too was our ability to force turnovers, and boy did we force a lot of turnovers. Eric Davis, for example, the sophomore custom, he was able to get an interception today, but that was our main turnover driver in this one. We were able to force multiple fumbles, both of which we had covered. Pat Taylor, the senior, able to be all over this quarterback. Like I said earlier, also got that forced fumble, as did Kevin Fuller, which we were able to get both fumble recoveries. Greg Copeland was one that got a fumble recovery, and so did Chase Gentry. Other than that, we do got a 2-game winning streak now. We'll see who we go up against in the next episode. But next episode, we will begin to wrap up our non-conference slate as we get to go back to the comfort of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Stadium, and we will be taking on New Mexico State. Now, some of y'all might have forgotten about New Mexico State because they're not in college football revamp, although they are in the base 2014 game. I'm going to bring them boys out here for NCAA 12, so should be an interesting little episode. Would not be surprised if it is a doubleheader since New Mexico State ain't the best team. We'll put it that way, but I'll leave that info for the next episode though. Hope you guys enjoyed it. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed our big win against the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes, do me a favor and smack that like button so that we can get this video out to other college football fans out there. And not to mention, if you're enjoying the content on this channel and you're new, hit that subscribe button, man, so that we can grow this community that we're going on and we can do it together. So that being said, this is John J Gaming on the mic signing off. Hoping you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.